President Obama certainly would have preferred to focus more on the economy, the looming fiscal cliff, in his first post-election news conference today. Instead, he also had to address the sex scandal that toppled his hand-picked CIA director and the decorated former Army General David Petraeus. The president said he's withholding judgment while the FBI investigation unfolds and noted that there's no indication, at least not yet, of a security breach.
I have no evidence at this point, from what I've seen, that classified information was disclosed that in any way would have had a negative impact on our national security. Obviously, there's an ongoing investigation. I don't want to comment on the specifics of the investigation. I want to emphasize that, from my perspective at least, he has provided this country an extraordinary service. We are safer because of the work that Dave Petraeus has done. And my main hope right now is that he and his family are able to move on and that this ends up being a single side note on what has otherwise been an extraordinary career.
And there are also new developments only in the last few minutes surrounding Petraeus' former mistress, his biographer, Paula Broadwell, and her security clearances. Our Pentagon correspondent, Barbara Starr, and our intelligence correspondent, Suzanne Kelly, they're both working the story for us. Barbara, let's start with you. What are you hearing from your sources?
Well, Wolf, CNN has now confirmed that Paula Broadwell's security clearance has been suspended. 2 U.S. officials have confirmed this to CNN, saying it's suspended until the investigations are done at least. Our own colleague, Fran Townsend, reporting classified material was found on at least a Broadwell computer. Now, we went to the Army and asked about this officially because, of course, Paula Broadwell is a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve specializing in military intelligence. The Army will only say, quote, appropriate actions with regard to this officer's clearance and access have been taken. The Army has been cooperating with federal law enforcement authorities in this matter, and those actions are ongoing. You don't have to read too far between the lines, Wolf. Her security clearance suspended. She has got to now answer the question, what classified information did she have? What authority did she have to have it? And if she had it in her home, was she protecting it in accordance with federal law? It doesn't get more serious than this, Wolf.
Certainly doesn't. All right, stand by for a moment. Suzanne Kelly is with us as well. You're getting new information, Suzanne, what the FBI apparently found on some of those computers?
Right, and the measures that really have to be in place, Wolf, for safeguarding that material. We do know from a law enforcement source, as Barbara mentioned, that Paula Broadwell was in possession of classified material. We also know that the FBI investigation is still officially open. So what are investigators looking for, and just how high-reaching did Broadwell's security clearance go?
Just when many thought the investigation had come to an end, FBI agents spent 5 hours hauling boxes and computers from Broadwell's North Carolina home Monday night, taking a closer look at what classified materials she had. Military officials tell CNN's Barbara Starr that as an intelligence officer in the military reserves, Broadwell would have had secret or even top-secret clearance. But that clearance would have been for information pertaining to whatever her job was. She told an audience in Aspen, Colorado this summer that she had to follow strict rules in order to keep her security clearance and her unprecedented access to General David Petraeus.
I felt like I was almost held to a higher level of accountability because I could lose my clearance.
But some lawmakers are concerned that she wasn't careful enough. They're calling for an investigation.
This person who was associated with General Petraeus said at some gathering that there was 2 or 3 Libyans being held in the safe house. Now, the CIA has said that that's just patently false. All these things are flying around, and we don't know. That's why we need the investigation.
McCain's referring to comments like this one that Broadwell made at the University of Denver last month.
Now, I don't know if a lot of you have heard this, but the CIA annex had actually had taken a couple of Libyan militia members prisoner, and they think that the attack on the consulate was an effort to try to get these prisoners back. So that's still being vetted.
And there's another question. Were protocols for handling such materials followed?
Classified information, by its nature, is the type of information that can cause significant damage to the United States if it is compromised.
But when Petraeus granted Broadwell access, including on trips to Afghanistan, her access to classified information becomes murkier, especially in meetings with his subordinates.
They're taking their signal from the general. If he's bringing her in, it's implicit that they're able to speak in front of her. And so I think this is a pretty complicated investigation, both for the FBI and for the Justice Department.
Now, this is certainly not over for Broadwell, and as Barbara Starr reported, her security clearance has been suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. Wolf, I've reached out to Broadwell several times. We talked over the summer in Aspen about her starting a second book now about General Petraeus and how that book was really meant to be his legacy. It's very possible that a lot of the information she had was in regards to that book as well.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks very much. And meanwhile, we're also learning new details of the emails from another general, John Allen, to another married woman, Jill Kelly. Let's go back to Barbara. What are you finding out?
John Allen, Wolf, still under investigation, of course. A new characterization of the emails he may have sent to Jill Kelly, but now known as the other woman. Our Nick Patton Walsh is reporting that Allen got an email perhaps back in the spring from a handle called the Kelly Patrol. This was the original potentially threatening email that Allen saw. He forwarded to Julie Kelly, and that is somewhat of what set all of this off. What are in those Allen emails? Officials are telling us it's embarrassing that John Allen, the commander of the war in Afghanistan, would be very embarrassed if his wife saw those emails. The problem may be here, the investigators, everybody's got a different interpretation of what's embarrassing, what's over the line. Were they just a little bit inappropriate, or did they cross the line? That's the question, Wolf.
Lots of questions on that front as well. Meanwhile, his nomination to become the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe, the NATO top commander, that is on hold. Barbara, thank you. Meanwhile, amidst all of this, Israel is striking Gaza with deadly force, killing a Hamas military leader. The exploding tension has the United States right now very concerned. We're going to Jerusalem. And woman power in the United States.